Hey guys, so I've been debating on doing this video for months now. I never really do anything like this where I just sit down and talk about something as serious as what I'm about to talk about. Now, this video is going to get very serious, and it's not going to be graphic, but there's going to be like subjects discussed that some people might find triggering or upsetting. So if you do suffer with like mental health issues, self-harm, anything like that, you might either want to not watch this video or watch it with a trusted adult, because yeah, I don't want to trigger anything for anyone, but to talk about like this I need to go into some detail about things. So I had like a great childhood. I grew up with my adoptive family, everything was great, it was fine, and yeah, that was okay. And then when I was like around 11, 12, just as I moved up to high school, I started to suffer with quite a bit of bullying. Like, it started off as just like name calling, like just little things like, oh, she's so fat and stuff like that. And yeah, it started off as really little things that they hurt after a while, but you kind of get used to them and you just shake them off like, oh, it's normal. I guess what happens at school, like that's the reality of it. And then when I was 13, I got into my first relationship. Now, that relationship was fine, it was absolutely fine, there was no issues with it, but because of everything, the bullying that I went through was mainly boys, but there were a few groups of girls as well. But because of everything that I'd been like called, words that I had thrown at me, I didn't like believe that anyone actually loved me. I was like, you don't know, like you just think the same as everybody else. And because of that, I really struggled with friendships, relationships, anything. Like, I just struggled because I just didn't believe anyone actually liked me, because at school I was always the girl who had no friends, the girl who was on her own. And because of that, I didn't really need anyone. I was used to being on my own. So it hurt when I did make friends and they just eventually left. It got to the point where I was so used to being hurt, to being lied to being called every name under the sun, that whenever I made friends with someone, I just ended up pushing them away. I didn't trust anyone, I didn't want them in my space, I wanted to be on my own. So yeah, that happened. And then that's how I went through school on my own. Didn't care about anyone, didn't really like anyone, just on my own. At 16, I went to college. I left my school and I was so glad to have left. Like, it wasn't necessarily a problem with the school, it was just because of my personal experiences with the bullying, there was points when it wasn't just name calling, it turned very physical, and I just didn't want to be there anymore. Like, I was glad to have left. At 16, I went to college. In my first time in college, I made friends with a group of people who weren't nice people. They were very toxic, horrible people, and they weren't friends. I also got into another relationship at this point with someone that I did genuinely really, really like, and in that relationship I was cheated on 6 times with different people. Like, I was with this one guy, we'll call him Josh. He wasn't called Josh, but we'll call him Josh. I was with him for like 5 months, and in a week there were 6 different people who he got with behind my back. And yeah, that really messed me up. I was upset, I was like, it was horrible, really horrible. Then I kind of drifted from the group of toxic people I'd hung around with and made different friends, which was good. I was happier that way. And then we got to the end of that first college year. Everything had gone kind of smooth, but I was really struggling with my mental health at this point, and I just thought the way I was feeling was normal, so I didn't really say anything about it. Like, and eventually I started opening up to my parents about how I genuinely was feeling, and to support worker, and she straight away dismissed it, said it's not mental health, like it just can't be. She was like, you've not been through anything traumatic enough to have mental health problems. So I was like, okay, well maybe this is just normal then, like this is just the way that I'm gonna feel for the rest of my life. So I just accepted that was how I was gonna feel. And yeah, that was pretty traumatic, as you can probably understand. And then like just carried on going. I had a work placement set up for college that I just couldn't do. I couldn't face it because I didn't like the idea of going somewhere new and speaking to new people and stuff. Because of what I've been through, meeting new people will always be a massive struggle for me, because I'm like, I don't believe it when they try and be nice. I'm like, oh, you're nice now, but you'll just turn into something so horrible later that I'm just gonna hate this. So I didn't do it. And then eventually I went back to the doctors and I was like, look, I'm struggling, like this isn't normal, I feel like this. And eventually the doctors were like, right, yeah, this isn't normal. So they set up some therapy for me. And then I did a different work placement with a nursery over summer, which I loved. I did love the placement eventually, like not eventually, because that one I just clicked. I loved it. I had a breakdown on the first day, but I managed it. I survived. Like I loved it. And then when it came to the second placement, I wanted to go back, which says something. So then had summer holidays, everything, went to France, had a really good holiday, and then went back to college. And when I went back to college, that's when I started to like shake a bit again. Like my mental health went from around here to all the way down here, and I was just like, I can't do this, like this is so bad. So I went back to the doctors and he put me on medication, which I'm now on something called sertraline, which I'll let people have their own opinions of, because I know it's very controversial. Some people think it works really well for them, some people hate it and hate its side effects. For me, I've not really experienced any weird side effects. When I first started taking it, I had really bad insomnia, like I couldn't sleep, and I did feel quite sick, but I got over it, got used to being on it, it was fine. So yeah, got put on medication, and then things started to get a bit better for me. And then my whole like college experience did lift up a bit once I'd got onto the medication, because I did feel much happier. And then I had an experience with a teacher at college where he said he didn't want to teach me because he couldn't deal with me, which for me obviously like really rocked me. Like I was like, am I that bad? Am I that much of a problem? And again, it started to make me think, people don't like me, people can't deal with me, like why am I like this? This isn't normal. And that, like, I didn't want to be at college, I wanted to leave. I hated it from then on. And then I got a job, which my job, I couldn't fault it. It lifted my confidence so much. So quickly, I just want to like throw it in there, like just want to put out like a little thank you to my manager Jo, because she'd like took me on and made me believe like that I can do something and people do want me somewhere. So thanks for that. And then I started applying for uni. That for me was a massive step, because the whole reason I never wanted to go to uni is because I didn't think I could. I was like, there's no way I can move out at 18 and be on my own. Like, there's no way I can do that. Like, I just can't. It's ridiculous to even think that I could do that. But I applied. I was like, might not get anywhere, but we'll apply. And I knew instantly what uni I wanted to go to. I knew I wanted to go to Liverpool Hope. It's literally, sorry, I just got a message, I don't mind. Like, it was literally set in stone. That was what I wanted, where I wanted to be. So I was like, right, well, this is what I want to do. Like, I'm gonna do it. So then I, after Christmas, when we went back I got an email when I was at one of my teacher Sophie's lessons, and an email came through. So I went on my emails, and I was like, oh my god, like, I've been invited to an interview at my first choice. And I didn't know what to say. Like, I was literally like, oh my god, like, this can't be happening to me. This doesn't happen to me. And I went to see my tutor, and she was like, oh my god, like, I'm so proud of you. So I told my dad when I got home, and he was so proud as well. And then we went to the interview in February. So we went, and then 2 weeks later I heard back that they'd offered me a place, and I cried and cried and cried. I'd just finished a shift at work when I found out, and I got the email, and I was sat in the crew room with 2 of my friends, and I was like, I've done it. Like, oh my god, what is going on? And then I went home, and I was like, shall I walk or get the bus? But I was like, I'm gonna get the bus because I have to tell my mum. Like, I can't wait to tell her. So got on the bus, got home, and I walked into my living room, and I was like, guess who's going to Liverpool? And my mum just looked at me, and she was like, what? I was like, I did it, mum, I did it. And she was like, I'm so proud of you. I told Ellie, I walked into Ellie's room, and I was like, how clever is your big sister? And she went, really clever, why? I was like, I got into uni. And she was like, what? And like, we were all just so happy. And then next month we went into lockdown as a country, which was kind of terrifying for someone with anxiety like me, because I was like, I don't know what's happening, there's so much change, like, everything's just been put on pause. I've left college, don't know what's happening with my results, like, am I going to get to uni, like, am I going to get in? And then I got an email from the uni saying that they changed my offer to an unconditional, purely because they, like, looking at my target grades, like what the college expected me to get and what I needed to get onto the course, it was like likely that it was almost certain that I was going to get it. So they just gave me an unconditional, which I was over the moon, because I was stressing like mad that I wouldn't get in. So to get an unconditional, to know that that guarantee is there, I was so excited. So yeah, that brings me to now, and all I want to say in this video, like at the end of this video, is no matter what you've been through in life, no matter who's knocked you down, how many times you've been knocked down, you can get back up, and you will. Like, this time last year, if someone had told me I'd have been getting ready to go to uni in 2.5 months, I would have told you to walk away. Like, that wouldn't happen. That doesn't happen. Now I'm like, you know, I'm ready. I'm excited. I want to do this. So yeah, I just wanted to put this video out there as inspiration, because I know there's a lot of people like me who suffer and don't believe in themselves. And believe me, I still don't. I still don't believe in myself. I still don't believe that I'll be amazing. I don't believe that I'll ever be someone's #1 choice or anything. Like, I don't believe that. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go to uni. I'm gonna get my qualification, and I'm gonna be a social worker. Because I've been told I can't enough times. And I'm taking the negativity now and changing it into something positive. So yeah, I just wanted to say, you can, and you will. Don't get me wrong, I still have bad days. There's still scars fading on my arms from all the past mistakes I've made. But like my mum and my nan always said to me, your skin's not paper, don't cut it. Your life's not a movie, so don't end it. There's so much to live for, and you never know what's around the corner. So keep your head up, keep going, and you'll get where you want to be. If I can do it, then so can you. Anyway, I'm gonna go now because I've talked for way too long, but I'll see you guys soon.